episode of The Jump, and the Boston Celtics are officially in the NBA Finals. Second time in 3 years. What a run this has been. It was gentleman's sweep, and then an actual sweep. Pure dominance out of these guys, and I know the talk is the cakewalk that they had, or these injuries, different stuff. Like, you play who's in front of you. They've also battled the injury bug themselves with Kristaps, so I think you just got to give the credit where it's due. They've played absolute phenomenal ball this whole playoffs, and it's got them where they are now. And before I get into some of the games and stuff, I want to talk about just what Brad Stevens has really orchestrated behind the scenes of this master class of being a GM, because he was a good coach, 5 times the GM he ever was as a coach. That Jrue Holiday move, I think I may have said it on the podcast. The second they got Jrue Holiday, they were my pick. It was tough. It was tough against the Nuggets, but the Jrue Holiday move was incredible for Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, and some picks. What a trade that one was. And then he deals Marcus Smart for Kristaps. Gets Derek White a few years ago. What he's done behind the scenes is absolutely incredible. And I think that one needs to be put in the light a little bit, because it's crazy what he's been able to do. And then they obviously drafted their 2 superstars. So, and what's crazy is one of the superstars was first team All-NBA, and then the other one won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So, the Celtics are in a good spot, to say the least. But getting into some of the games, obviously 4-0 sweep, there's not much to say. It wasn't dominance by any means. There was a couple games that could have gone different ways. The number one game that could have gone a different way was Game 1. The Pacers had that thing won. Jaylen Brown hits that clutch shot at the end of regulation. There was all the talk of whether or not you should foul up 3. I think with how the NBA is now, with the continuation and all of that of the jump shot, I think if Pascal would have fouled Jaylen in the corner there, it would have been an and 1 if he makes the shot, or at least would have been 3 shots, which would have been stupid in hindsight. So, but I think you do need to foul as soon as somebody's going down with a dribble, and it's something's, you got to foul up 3 there. I know analytically that's not proven to be the best in the modern basketball, but at least in college and in the NBA, sometimes you see it it works. And I think at that time, what the Celtics had done, they were battling back, and I think that would have been smart to do. But they won 133-128 in that one. Game 2, dominance. This was right after the All-NBA teams were announced. Jaylen Brown was snubbed of an All-NBA team, and he gave the Pacers 40 that night. So that was kind of his awakening, I guess, where he was like, all right, now you're going to put me on a All-NBA team. I'll just drop 40. I'll be the best player in this game. So, yeah, I think that one was definitely the most dominant game, I think, probably of the playoffs. Obviously, there's been different scores and different stuff, but where they've been more dominant on the scoreboard. But in my opinion, the way that they were able to take over that game, from start to finish, that was the Celtics' best game of the playoffs. And Tyrese Halliburton gets injured in that game. That one, that I think did the series right there. I think if Tyrese was there, obviously the Pacers hadn't lost a game at home in the playoffs. They hadn't lost a game in a couple months at home. But the Tyrese Halliburton injury, obviously they need him to facilitate. He doesn't have to score 30 a night, but his facilitating and just the way he can push tempo, that they needed that, and that kind of ended it there. Game 3, 114-111, another close one. Tatum had 36, 10, and 8. That was kind of the story of this playoffs, or in this series. I think he averaged 30, 10, and 7 or something. He was just pretty dominant all over the board. Great defensively, hit great shots when it was needed, and he kind of just did all the right things. He didn't get Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but he did everything he was supposed to. But I'll mention this in a little bit after I talk about the Game 4. The Pacers led 84-66 with 6 minutes left in the third, and blew that. Like, that was insane. 18-point lead, 6 minutes left in the third. Like, you've got to close that one out. I don't care whether Tyrese is playing or not. You got to close that one out as a franchise, and yeah, that was the one with, I believe it was Game 3 with the football play there at the end, and they got a good look at it. Aaron Nesmith missed the shot, but yeah, that was a tough one for the Pacers. And then Game 4, second game in Indy, Celtics win 105-102. It was kind of stagnant there at the end. Derek White hit the three to take the lead, and I mean, in the clutch there at the end, Jaylen Brown was hitting big shots. I mean, they just did all the right things. No Halliburton in this game. Pacers didn't score a point in the final 3.5 minutes of the game. It was wild. And then the very last possession kind of summed up the series when I can't remember who it was saying it, but one of the commentators was saying they don't have to foul here. They can get the rebound. They got a few seconds to go down and get a look. And I think it was about 4 seconds left, 5 seconds left, something like that. Drew Holiday comes flying in and snags the offensive board, and they kick it out. And that was the series summed up in a nutshell right there. And that kind of did it. And I think one thing that I always judge, especially NBA and college coaches on and stuff, is what you do out of a timeout. Because like I said, it was kind of stagnant. It was 102. And Rick Carlisle calls it a timeout there at the end. And I want to say that was the play that resulted in, it might have been Andrew Nembhard getting stuffed at the rim. I just don't understand what was going on, schematically in that game. But, yeah, the Celtics they did all the right things late in every single one of these games. Obviously, you could do the narrative of, it could be 3-1 Pacers. But, I mean, the Celtics were just doing the right thing. Like I said earlier, Jaylen Brown, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, absolute baller. It's crazy that he is the partner in crime to somebody else, because he especially how he's been playing in these playoffs. He's been playing one of the best players in the playoffs to this point, and not even just this series, obviously this series, but this whole run so far. So, but. Yeah, I don't know. These Celtics are definitely going to be the big favorite in the finals. But the blown lead that I referred to a second ago, the Pacers in Game 1 led 117-114 with 9 seconds left. Lost it. They were up 109-108 with 2:25 left in Game 3. Lost that. And up 98-90 with 5:40 left in Game 4. And lost it. It was crazy. It was... I think, kind of, which I don't know. It's up for debate whether it was the right call or not. I mean, some people say if it was a superstar, it would have been a different call. But the point of the game where T.J. McConnell got absolutely rocked by Jaylen Brown, and it ended up just being called a common foul. That was kind of the point where I was like, oh, that'll do it. That was the kind of that felt like the call that was gonna end up propelling the game to end the way that it did. But for the Western Conference, we also have possibly a sweep. It's crazy because I don't know if they're even going to move the the date of the finals up. I think it's June 6th. So they're both going to just be free for a little bit. As I'm uploading this, that game will be played that night. So the last podcast I did, I was excited because I was like, oh shoot, this will probably be both the series might be 2-2 by the time I do the next podcast and stuff. I was excited, but then one's already over, and then one is on the brink of being over. But Game 1, 108-105, Luka took over in the fourth, 15 points in the fourth by himself, and some of the best defense I've ever seen. Obviously, it's been talked about, it's been brought to light, the amazing defense he's played in this playoffs. It's always been the knock on him a little bit. But that game especially, this whole playoffs, phenomenal defense out of Luka. And that's what I think has truly been the story of the Mavericks Timberwolves series. They have one of the best offensive backcourts in NBA history, and they pair that up with phenomenal defense. It's crazy. Kyrie was balling in Game 1. Like I said, 108-105 Mavericks over the T-Wolves in that one. Game 2 was the Luka buzzer, 109-108. I don't really understand. I think it's more of like a. I don't think I have like an old soul when it comes to like basketball mindset and stuff, but like the fact that one simple ball screen gets you to the point where you just go away with it and you're like, all right, well, we're just switching that. We have nothing else we can do. No attempt to blitz it, no attempt to even hedge it, anything. Nothing to try to mess up anything, and they just switch it. Rudy Gobert gets switched onto him, and it's just food at that point. Like there was like no world where he wasn't going to score there, and I think like probably Rudy was the guy that he would have rather been guarded by on that court the most because like he's not going to move as well. Like he had him doing a freaking tango before. He closed out on him, so like, and Luka in 2024 is definitely the most dangerous step back shot in basketball, and that's what he did. So, I don't remember who it was on the wing. It might have been like Derrick Jones Jr. or P.J. Washington or something. But I don't understand how like there's no attempt to like double. You're just leaving Rudy ISO on one of the best players in basketball. So. It was a recipe for disaster, and it ended in disaster. So, the Luka buzzer that was it was something, but it was I just don't understand. And the picture leaked out of people were posting it after Jaden McDaniels, like when he was looking after the switch, and he was like, oh my gosh, like you just tell on his face, he knew it was over as soon as that switch happened. So. And Draymond Green, after the game, he was like, Luka wouldn't answer, like, with what Draymond wanted. But Draymond was just like, he was like, that was the easiest guy to score on there. Like, and then Luka wouldn't say because obviously he's going to keep his mouth shut for the right reasons. But, yeah, I mean, it was a great point from Draymond that when it's a center matched up, obviously, there's a little bit of length, but Luka is 6'8". Like there's no like person stopping that at all. If it would have been Jaden McDaniels, it's the best option. But like, I don't understand how you don't blitz that and force it out of Luka's hand and make them trust somebody else's shot. That's what I feel like is the best case scenario there. But yeah, the Luka buzzer beater, it was awesome. But they got away by one there. I think that was game 2 was the Nas Reed game, and I didn't like that Anthony Edwards ended up giving the ball up to, which obviously he was getting bombarded there at the end, but like he gave it up to Nas Reed to hit a shot when Anthony Edwards, this is your team, this is you and Cat, one of you all has to take that shot. Nas Reed obviously had the hot hand that night, but I just don't think that was a good decision in the end, but. Then Game 3. So obviously, like I said, when I'm uploading this, it will be Game 4 played that night. It'll be Tuesday, the 28th. This was the game where it was officially like, all right, Cat, you've been awful. Like, Cat has played historically bad. And I think the Timberwolves as a whole. Like, I think in the regular season, they were like 17 or 18 in offensive efficiency. And then in this playoffs, they were playing otherworldly. So, like... They had you kind of questioning, like, what kind of team are they really? And their true colors are coming out when it's a solid defensive team coming from Dallas. And then just offensively, they're not near the same. So, Jaden McDaniels came back down to earth. Cat's missing everything. But, I mean, Anthony Edwards, he went into Game 3 with the mindset of he's going to take a lot of shots. I want to say he shot it like 24, 25 times. And it didn't end up working. So that one was 116, 107. So not too bad. But I don't know. I think because, like, Game 4 in Dallas, I think they can maybe win these next two. Speaking for the Timberwolves, I think that maybe they can get it to 3-2. And then I think they lose in Dallas in Game 6. But nobody's ever come back from 3-0. So I don't expect it to happen now. And... it's not a super bold take for me to say that. Like, I saw Chris Broussard, I think he was like screaming. He was like, "You're done. You're done, Minnesota." I was like, that's not a crazy take to have at all. Like, nobody's ever come back from 3-0. So, I'm just gonna continue with that. I don't think that's gonna be anything to worry about. But I think they'll get 2. I think they'll get a couple. One other thing from that game 3, Derek Lively's injury. That was scary. Got his head rocked by Cat's knee. But he had been playing so well. I mean, it's him or PJ, been the 3rd best player in a Mavericks uniform this postseason run. But yeah, Derek Lively probably not going to play game 4. They said he wasn't on concussion protocol, but like, it definitely looked like he should be. But whatever it may be, praise for him and pray for a speedy recovery. And obviously, if they win game 4, he's going to have a little time off because, like I said, I don't think they're going to move the start date to the finals. So Kristaps will be healthy, Derek Lively will be healthy, Maxi Kleber will be back. Like, both teams full force, and they'll be going at it. But yeah, so obviously I'm going to go with the Timberwolves win game 4. That would be my prediction as this is coming out. But if not a super shocking thing. Best player left in the playoffs is on the Mavericks, and then with Kyrie playing the way that he has. Oh, and now I want to touch on that backcourt thing that I said. Honestly, in my opinion, this is probably the greatest, at least this postseason run, this is the greatest offensive backcourt in NBA history. Because, like, the one knock that you had was Luka's not a great catch-and-shoot shooter, and he's shooting, like, the most efficient in the playoffs off of catch-and-shoot right now. Like, every little thing that you can imagine, like, that you could give as, like, a knock to them, you can't use it. Like, Kyrie Irving and Luka, they have, like, the highest lob percentage. They're both assisting at a crazy rate. Like, they're facilitating. They're both playing super well off each other. And I don't understand a world where you can stop it. Like, schematically, you can't do anything. Like, these are 2 of the hardest players in the world to guard, and they're in the same backcourt. It's crazy. And I mentioned it in the last one. What a deal it was to get him to freaking Dallas. That was insane. But as I wrap this up a little bit, it's a short episode, but I'll probably do a longer one next week. I want to mention today, as I'm recording this, we lost a basketball legend, and I don't put that lightly. This guy, I'm more of a college guy, as you all know. This guy is in the debate. I think he's top 2 as the greatest college basketball player of all time. And he's one of the best. Yeah, he was an NBA 75 player. So, Bill Walton, rest in peace to the man. What a joy it was to listen to him for so long and just have him around the game. He truly loved basketball. And obviously, I never got to meet the man. But just through the screen, you truly felt like you knew the guy and knew the joy. I heard Jay Billis talking about him and saying that he was like the most genuine person he had ever met, and when he would, like, anytime he talked to Bill Walton, he would ask about Jay, not like any of his job, anything like that. He would ask about, and it wasn't even just Jay. He said numerous people would go up to Bill Walton, talk to him, and Bill Walton would always ask about you and how your life is going and all of that. So I just think I think Jay put it great, and obviously all the guys he worked alongside had nothing but great things to say that whole time. But one thing I wanted to note, John Fanta had said this: when you think of people who define authenticity, Bill Walton is that word at its core. He was a beaming light in basketball and kind to everyone he encountered. What a person he is. And somebody had noted that he ended up passing away days after the Conference of Champions, the Pac-12, after they ended. So, their conference baseball had ended there, and so it was just funny. He ended up not living in a world where the Pac-12 did not exist. So I thought that was funny. But what I do want to note is some of his accolades. I won't have all of them because there's no world where he's one of those guys when you pull up like their sports reference, there's like 55 things and you have no idea what even half of it is. He's just won like everything. He's also one of me and different buddies of mine. We make like quizzes and stuff, and we'll do like trivia. And Bill Walton is such an easy trivia guy because he's done everything. He's won Rookie of the Year, I think. He's won like an MVP. He's won a Sixth Man of the Year. Like, he's just done everything. He's won titles at both levels. Like, it's crazy. But like I said, some of the accolades, like he didn't lose a game until his last year at UCLA, undefeated up to that point. He was a 2-time NCAA champion, 2-time NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player, 3-time National College Player of the Year, 3-time First Team All-American, and 1993 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame inductee. So, it's a sad day in the basketball world, but I think he's in a better place now. So, Bill Walton, what a legendary career, paved the way for numerous people and made for a whole lot of iconic videos for us to cherish as he's gone. So I want to pray for that family and condolences for those loved ones and any family, friends, or anything close to him, because I know he probably had a super big impact on those around him. So rest in peace, Bill Walton. And one last thing, I'm not going to go through the entire bracket because I'd probably fall asleep doing that. But the NCAA tournament, NCAA College World Series postseason, is officially here in Kentucky. Highest seed in program history, the number 2 overall seed. This was, Tennessee was the 1 seed, and then I want to say, so Tennessee was the 1 seed, Kentucky was the 2 seed. Like I said, highest in program history. And then the 3 seed was A&M. First time that's ever happened, where the top 3 seeds in the tournament have all been from the same conference. And the SEC also put in 11 teams into the NCAA tournament, which is the most ever. But going through the rest of them, the 1 seeds, North Carolina, Arkansas, Clemson, Georgia, Florida State, Oklahoma, NC State, Oklahoma State, Virginia, Arizona, UC Santa Barbara, Oregon State, and East Carolina. So I'm super excited about it. I will be in attendance, hopefully, if Kentucky, because Kentucky will be hosting a super regional. I'll be out of town this weekend for when they're hosting the regional. But I'm super excited about it, though. I might end up going to a Georgia regional. I don't know who is in their region, though. Let's see. Doing this on the fly. Georgia baseball. They have Army, West Point, Georgia Tech, and UNC Wilmington. Not half bad. Number 7 overall seed. And they also have Charlie Condon or whatever, the home run leader in NCAA history. So that would be super fun to see. But I think that'll just about do it. Like I said, short episode just to talk about these series that were also very short. But we'll be back next week. Probably a longer episode breaking down what the finals will look like and different stuff like that. So thank you all for tuning in. Go follow the socials. I plan to do some more guests and stuff this summer as we go forward and transfer out of the basketball season. So go follow the socials, the Jump Sports on both Instagram and TikTok. Throw an underscore at the end of the Jump Sports on Instagram. But you can find them at the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for tuning in and showing any support. Like the video, comment, anything. Any comments. I'll read all of those and leave your thoughts on what this postseason has meant, and maybe if you're a Celtics fan, how confident you are going into the finals, no matter who your opponent will end up being. Probably the Mavericks. But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The Jump. Like, comment, subscribe. Enjoy the college baseball season. Enjoy the rest of the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.